You're not actually stuck. You're just avoiding the decision making part of what it takes to run your business like a CEO. My name is Katie Costello. This is Rex, and we're here to shake some sense into you because you have everything it takes to up level your life and your business, but you're too busy looking at what everyone else is doing to recognize your own capacity for success. So, today we're going to talk about decision making and why this is a CEO level skill. And if you're running your business like the hustler who started her business, like the one who thought of the idea, birthed the idea, went out there, got the sales, posted, made the logo, did the thing, and now you're stuck, now you've plateaued, now you don't know why your effort is not yielding results like it used to, this video is for you. So, indecision, fear of making decision usually looks like productive procrastination. So, productive procrastination can look like doing anything and everything to stay busy so you don't have the guilt of I was sitting on my couch not doing anything, but instead you were just like, oh, I didn't get around to it. Perfectionism. There's a lot of perfectionists out there who just want it to look right, feel right. They're afraid of judgment, afraid of what other people are going to think, afraid of being compared to other people, comparing their own work to other people. So they tweak and they pivot, and they work on it and they refine it until they lose momentum or they lose the excitement and then they trash the idea altogether. Or maybe if you have convinced yourself that you don't know enough, you're not smart enough, you're not experienced enough to make the right decision. So you're afraid of making the wrong decision. You're afraid of failure. You've decided that you don't have the tools and you're not equipped enough to make the decision. So we stall out. But I'm here to tell you today that what's actually happening is your ego is avoiding change. Because any change, even if it's good change, even if it's $1 million in the bank account, change is scary. Change is death to the ego. The ego knows how to keep you alive, how to keep you safe in the status quo. This is homeostasis. This is fine. We know how things go at this level. When there's change, that is the unfamiliar, and your ego will do anything it can to keep you playing small, safe, and in your comfort zone, even if it's an uncomfortable comfort zone. So it comes in really sneaky ways. I like to say it as your inner saboteur. You'll have a brilliant idea to take a step forward in your business, and your inner saboteur will come forward and decide that you need to redesign your entire logo. And you feel like you're working, but really you're avoiding change, you're avoiding moving. So when you feel this indecision come in, that tells me that you don't trust yourself to fail, that you don't trust yourself to make a mistake, because the most successful entrepreneurs and CEOs that we all know, that we all see, that we all look up to, they have failed more times than you've tried. So it is not about doing it right. It is about trusting yourself to go towards something and have your own back. If you make a decision and you start going towards that and you're collecting data along the way, I'm getting this kind of response, I'm getting this sort of feedback. Oh my gosh, look at how this is performing. You get to decide and pivot and twist along the way. There's so much gray area, but your ego freaking you out, trying to get you to stop, slow down, and not move any further is telling you if you make the wrong decision, you're going to fail. And if you fail, everyone's going to laugh at us, right? Because as human beings, we don't want to be ostracized. Everyone's going to laugh at us. People are going to judge you for trying. You're going to put yourself out there. You're going to be cringy. You've wasted your time. You could have spent it elsewhere. It's telling you and convincing you that this is unsafe, but it's actually really not unsafe at all. If you can trust yourself, if you can have your own back, you are capable of taking that step closer to your dreams by deciding. Signs that your ego is really driving this bus here, this indecision bus, is that you'll start to outsource your power. You'll feel like, I know something needs to change. I'm stuck. I need to make more money or whatever's going on in your business. And you'll start to outsource your power. What does that mean? That means you're looking at the loudest voice on the internet being like, she makes $150 million a month. I should probably trust her and take her advice and buy her course and start over and learn something new. And she has the answers. They have the answers. This podcast has the answers. Outsourcing the answers. This is different than hiring a coach who can come into your world, look at your unique situation that you can learn from and work towards your goal together. That's all decision making skills. But if you're outsourcing your power, like, I don't know, this person does, they will save me and get me to what I want. This will be the thing that works for me. That's outsourcing your power. Another thing that can come up when you're stuck in a decision is you might go half in on something. Going half in on something, you are not at risk of being to blame when it doesn't work, right? So when you go 100% in, when you're 110% in, and you're like, this is the thing, I'm not looking back, there is no plan B. If it doesn't work, you're the only one to blame. That's what it feels like, at least. It's the story that you're telling yourself. So you're like, I'll just try it a little bit. And if it works, then I'll keep going. But I'm just going to try a little bit. It feels low risk. But really, we as entrepreneurs take radical responsibility for all of our results. So if something works, that's your fault. If something doesn't work, that's your fault. If you go half in and you get half-ass results, that's your fault. So it's always going to be your fault, babe. You just get to decide how much you trust yourself to take the leap. A third way that this might show up for you is that you're playing small. that you're going to try a little bit, or you're gonna not really show your face, or in an opportunity to like go live on Instagram or something, you're gonna be like, I'll just pre-record it. Like, you're going to play small. And when you do these things, when you outsource your power, or you go half in, or you play small, you get small results. When you get small results, you feel like you wasted time, like you didn't try hard, like you're a little disappointed in yourself, like it was another wasted investment or whatever. The version of you who has gotten you to this level of business can't take you to the next level of business. That version, that hustler of you, that badass version of you who thought of an idea and birthed it and put it out there in the world, that's so fucking powerful and brave, she can't take you to the next level. The hustler isn't the CEO. A lot of women stall out at this point, decide that they've hit their ceiling, and they call it, or they never up level because it's so painful. Ego death is one of the most painful things you can do, because it's grieving, it's loss, it's moving on. You need to remind yourself that no matter what, you got you, and you'll figure it out. And the catalyst that is entrepreneurship isn't about strategy and sales, it's about the inner work. And the becoming of the person that you need to be is harder than building the business itself. So if you're stuck and stalled in your business, it's time to make a decision. In order to make that decision, you need to make sure that you have a goal in place and you're developing strategy to get to that goal. And then you make decisions in alignment with the strategy that gets you to your goal. And you show up as the version of you that knows that reaching that goal is inevitable for you. You don't know how you're going to do it or how long it's going to take, but you do know that you are going to get there, because that is where you're going. That is who you are. You are someone who reaches their goals because you trust yourself to make the decisions in order to get there and explore all of the peaks and valleys along the way. At some point, it's not about just having it all figured out, and instead, it's about deciding, moving, and having your own back the whole time. Something that's a staple that I help my clients establish inside their business are setting up their non negotiables for the week. It is imperative that you are moving the needle every single week, that even on your busiest week, you have doctor's appointments for the kids, you have a million client calls, you have whatever you have to do, even on those busy weeks, you are doing the activities that are absolutely necessary so you are progressing in your business. Because business success, long term, sustainable, foundational business success that builds you something that you can scale. Everyone wants to scale, but you have to have a foundation first. So, getting that foundation is about growing the business in a way that is sustainable and compoundable. And that starts by small steps every single day and week. You can zoom out from weekly goals to monthly goals to quarterly goals, and that's when you start to think and act like a CEO. But you can't get there without decision making. You can't get there without goal setting. You can't make decisions or follow a strategy without a goal. You need to be the CEO of your own business and of your own life. And you have to do that by getting a hold of your day to day. And you have to do that by making needle moving moments every single week. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's okay for you to have seasons of struggle and seasons of abundance. It is okay, but we are going to lessen the gap. As we evolve, this spiral is spiraling upwards, and the gap between your highs and lows is going to shrink if you put the effort in. You're going to lessen the gap financially. You're going to lessen that gap emotionally. You're going to lessen the gap, because that is how entrepreneurship works. That's how personal development works. Every time you're in a low phase, you see that as an opportunity to do the inner work, to figure out, because we take radical responsibility here. We take radical responsibility of our results, and that starts with making a decision. Today, your decision is to be the best fucking entrepreneur that you can be. That is how you set your life up for success. That is how you take control of your life. That's it for today. I'll see you in the next video.